I feel very similarly about, and believe it or not, we'll see how you feel about it, but I would argue that might be Mako's best song that I've heard of his, and I think this song is also, not to like spoil my entire review of it, but like I think this upcoming song from Marcel Stephon is the best he's ever done, and this song is called That's All.
Should've that tell myself, I don't even care about the state of my health. I don't need nothing long as I'm making my wealth. Make it now, I'm just trying to make it that so.
Again, I also did a write-up for this one, kind of a theme here, larger theme here. I did a write-up for this one, also on Mass Music Radio, so check it out, linked in the description. And I love this song so much. I've been a fan of Marcel for quite a while. If you're unfamiliar with Marcel, if you're just coming onto our show like very recently, Marcel did our intro music. He's very embedded with the Turntable Teachers.
Whoa, that's crazy! Look
did
at
our
you
intro
putting
music.
me on.
Yep. He did our intro music. He's originally from Gardner, Massachusetts, and he came in. He was one of our final in-person guest speakers before the pandemic, actually, too. Because I met him the same night I met him. I met Washi and Zafir and Haven Prescott from Syndicate. All our Turntable Teachers alumni in their own capacity. And Marcel, I've always enjoyed him as a lyricist. I've always liked his music a lot. But I have never replayed a song in his discography like I have with this one. And That's All. It's very genre blending, which is very different from what he's done in the past. He's more of a gritty, old school, not so much old school, but he definitely has more of a gritty sort of
Boom bap kind of sound. Maybe?
Yeah, I would say boom bap is probably makes a lot is a good solid description of it. But he airs out just thoughts from multiple perspectives on this song. It's very introspective as a whole. He really juxtaposes like his aspirations of like making it in the music industry with also his insecurities as well. He like contemplates his dreams as a full-time musician. He conveys like certain imageries of like luxurious cars, voluptuous women, expensive liquor, all through this kind of like melodic, nonchalant delivery, highlighting some of like society, like basically just highlighting like society's portrayal of fame, and kind of realizing that like, hey, like this might not be like like my version of success shouldn't have to be the standard that we see in like normal, entertainment industry type deal. And the hook is really where he captures me a lot. Like the idea of it really shifts very quickly. Creates a very interesting contrast where, believe it or not, like he has more of a melodic delivery in the verses, and then the hook, he comes in with these double time flows that are really with crazy honest lyricism that's really profound to me, detailing like feelings of pressure and anguish, but it's very relatable. And it ultimately becomes like this self-reflection of like his own worth. Like, I'm just trying to make it, that's all. It's very simplistic on the surface, but the constant repetition sort of emphasizes like this urgency for him to manifest this version of success. Has a hard time keeping it real with himself. And then there's even some imagery that's like, can be a little bit even jarring to hear. Like, he talks about, looking for a cross just to nail myself. I think that's very controversial and very chilling even to hear. But then, then he gets very stubborn as well. Like, don't nobody need to see me. I can play it like stealth, sort of acts like a defense mechanism to prevent others from like harming him and kind of getting away from the criticism and things like that. Doesn't want to be complacent where he is right currently. And so I really just love how thoughtful he was on this song. And not that he's never like not thoughtful on his other music. Like if anyone, hears his older stuff, like you'll hear it, but it just sounds so clean here and so vivid and detailed. And the instrumentation is really what I love so much about it. It almost has like this like folk sounding acoustic guitar loop that's really cool, and the aesthetic's raw and emotional, but it just conveys a mood that is just so profound to me in a lot of ways. Like this is probably one of my favorite songs on the listing, compared to from volume 1 that we did a couple days ago, and also recorded a couple days ago, and this volume as well. This is probably like in my top 2 or 3 songs, really. Washi and I were joking around when this song came out. We must have, he was telling me, yo, like I've literally played this song like 17 times today. Like you need to listen to it. And I listened to it, and then I probably played it like 10 times, like the same night. I was like, I've never played one of his songs so much. So huge shout out to Marcel.
Repeat too.
Oh, it's so good, man. I thoroughly recommend this song. If you guys check, definitely want to check this thing out. And I'm obviously curious to hear your thoughts, Phoenix. And it sounds like you enjoyed it too.
Definitely enjoyed it. You did a good job describing every reason why it's great. Honestly, I think first off, I love guitar samples. I love having guitar on anything hip hop. And I loved the fact that, like you said, it was an acoustic guitar with like almost a folky kind of feel after it was
indie
looped,
sound,
which is real dope. But it has those drums, and the way he's rapping on it is keeps it hip hop, which I love. I think the hook is definitely my favorite part. It's a super solid hook. I remember running into It's Marcel Stephon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember running into his page. Honestly, I don't remember. I do remember how you told me it was an artist that made our intro music, and I didn't remember or didn't put together that Marcel Stephon, that it was this artist. But I saw him going hard on Instagram, honestly, promoting this track and like promoting it with some ads and just him posting it over and over again, and I listened to it and I was like, this is real solid, honestly. So like this I've heard this track before we even kind of took time to analyze it and break it down and review it for this segment. But as I was listening to this and listening to all the songs, obviously giving them a good thorough listen, it just I got rewarded for the closer and closer I listened to it, and I really liked that because he's really talking his shit. And I think the kind of like you said, the verses are a little bit more melodic and more laid back than what the hook is, and I like that a lot. There was a lot of nice bars in there. You highlighted the bar I also had written down. This one is in the hook, looking for a cross just to nail myself, never losing myself because I keep it real with myself. That's all. That was, that's hard. And I think overall on the track, I'll tell you what, I hear this. I hear him hungry. You know what I mean? That's what I love to hear from a rapper, right? Especially if you're trying to rap. I hear him hungry for wanting to get to that place of being a major artist. That I think with those lines, like looking for a cross just to nail myself, but I'm never losing myself, just to keep it real with myself. It's kind of like, yo, I will do whatever it takes to get there, even if that means, fucking crucifying myself. But I'm going to keep it real when I am there too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to keep it real, keep my character intact, you feel me? Like, when I get there, but I'm willing by any means necessary to get there. You know what I mean? And that's how I caught it. That's how it landed for me. I had another I got some other notes here. I love the smoothness and the contrast to the verses. And I love the end of one of those verses that's like, tell me about all of the rappers that been set in history so I can beat them. You know what I mean? I think that again reinforced that hunger where he's like, yo, tell me about anybody who's hot out here so I can be more hot. Like, you know what I mean? And I love that.
I love the confidence.
But that kind of energy and that kind of subject matter on this folky, guitar-y ass beat and a very melodic ass hook, that's tough. I really like that combination. And I think my favorite line is when he says, "Hey Paul, I quit." End call.
That's all.
That's all. Like, that was tough. You know what I mean? I thought that again resonated for me as an artist myself, an indie artist trying to, just one day everybody I think wants to have that moment where you can call into your employer, hey, I quit, buddy. Ding, and bang the phone on them because you don't care how they feel about it. And I think that's what he's looking for. That's all. That's all.
That's all.
And I loved how towards the end he let that chorus rock with no dubs on it. You know what I mean? Towards the end of the song, he lets his chorus rock with the one vocal over that beat, and I thought that was great space. Like it let you really listen to every word.
Yeah, like
And
even
then
strips the drums off of it too.
yeah,
it's just- and
stripped
it's
the drums
just-
off
yeah.
of it, stripped the double over it, and it was just that voice. And I thought that was a really good way to end it. Obviously, it also helps you remember the chorus because the chorus repeats itself a decent amount of times. But I think it added some real character, and
It was a good choice.
again, yeah, it was a good choice, and for me, it supported the overall theme of like, yo, I'm just trying to make it. That's all. Or again, like I think it just reinforced or highlighted once more like how authentic this is. You know what I mean?
Authentic's a
And I
good
think
word,
it's
yeah.
hard to articulate almost until you hear it. But
Yeah,
it's
you
like
have to hear
there's
it.
a lot of energy in his voice, whether he doubled it or not. Like you can just feel that radiating off of him.
And the repetition of it, like sometimes I think repetition can be a bad thing. This is where I think completely opposite. It actually like really bolsters, like you said, bolsters the energy, bolsters the message overall of like of what he's trying to say. So and I was very, like I said earlier, like I'll double down on this. Like I think it was his approach to the song is very unique because I was surprised at how like you would think, okay, like someone go like a rapper would go hard in the verses and then have more like a melodic hook. Not to say that the hook wasn't melodic, but somehow he found a way to like spit harder in the hook than he did in the verses. It was really kind of a cool flip there that I don't think a lot of artists, especially in hip hop, do as often. So I was thoroughly impressed. He's just a really talented guy and honestly one of the most genuinely nice people. I mean, honestly, I will say this, like everyone we're talking about is they're just as human beings. I mean, amazingly good human beings. Like Washi, Cameron Iandolo. I mean, they're two of my closest friends in this industry, like for sure. And Mako, I've grown to have a very good relationship with. I've had some great conversations in the DMs with Haji. He seems like a really, really nice guy. Also a former teacher, so be on the lookout. He might be on the podcast pretty soon. And Marcel too.
That
like,
you knew
dude,
I was a bad guitarist.
but then I threw it in the bag like Tyrius. But Haji, we love you, and you know it's not a dig.
Track.
We love you.
Banger track. Banger. Feature.
But yeah, man, Marcel just a genuinely nice human being too. So like to top it all off, which is I know has nothing to do with the songs, but like that's besides the point.
I can feel that. I can feel that, and I think like I mentioned how I saw him because he was hustling on the gram. You feel me? Like reposting his stuff, posting his stuff. I put some ads behind it, and I think obviously there's tons of people that do that and just aren't worth it. But I think for me, every time I saw the post, it felt genuine, and every time I saw, whether it read his captions or just heard the track, nothing in here says like I'm reaching for something that I'm not. And I mean, in fact, all of it says like just trying to stay myself, which to me, I think is always a good sign about who this artist could be as a person as well. So he seems like a dope guy. I think he might have even been in my DMs once, either I swiped up on the track and said this is dope, or like he hit me with like an old school like, yo, can you check this out in my DMs, man? And I think we also had a good back and forth on Instagram, and so I get the vibes that he's a dope guy, and he has a dope ass track, man. So I'm glad that he was putting some energy behind it because it's definitely worth the listen, man. And
I'm 1,000%.
keeping my eye on Marcel for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is going to be a song that's going to have some staying power for me towards the end of the year, too. I would be pretty shocked if it's not at least an honorable mention by the end of the year in terms of Massachusetts for me personally. So, but yeah, man, I really am just digging it. And yeah, every time I talk to Marcel, he's always like, you're still using that as your intro? I'm like, oh, yeah, best believe it. So big shout out to Marcel Stephon.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, he's a
also,
great dude.
This is my one last thought about the song. He kind of sounds like a more eccentric DaBaby, and I don't know if he's heard that. I don't know if I just ruined the fucking review by saying this, but
cancel.
Right, but he sounds like like, and this is me speaking on the cadence of his voice. Go back to that track, and if you hear, especially a couple of those flows, those quick time flows, like it's kind of DaBaby. And he has a deeper set voice that kind of has that, that quickness and that energy to it, the same way DaBaby can have a very quick, energetic kind of feel to his thing. The verse is not very much, but that's what I'm saying. Like he's very unique in his own lane. Sounds like, so if you know what I mean, it's just kind of that.
I can kind of hear that in the hook a little bit
from a
yeah, I can
voice
kind of hear that
guy.
Yeah, I can actually. Now that you're saying that, I can actually hear it definitely in terms of the delivery. I can hear that a little bit with the very the quick hitting, like
to just be a different artist. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, for sure. No, I think that's an interesting comparison. But no, I definitely, like I said, great song, and big shout out to Marcel and Scott Smaller, his manager, and the entire team. I know, like we're definitely behind Marcel for sure. No doubt about it.